Hello and welcome back to Stop Talking Claw. I'm Claw. I should stop talking, but I'm not. If you hear a dryer or washer in the background, that's because I'm very near my laundry. And due to a mishap with my kid last night, I have to wash all of his clothes. And so I just can't stop the laundry. It has to keep going. This will be the last Stop Talking Claw for a minute because I think I'm going to do something else in this slot. Got the 4 channels. I gave it up before. I also gave up Lost Storytime, but they came back. This might come back, but probably not. It started as a thing to do, and now I'm not having fun with it. So I'm going to try something else that I've been wanting to do in a different way for a long time, but then my wife was like, why don't you just put it on your YouTube channel? So starting next cycle of Stop Talking Claw, which should be in 4 weeks or so. I think it usually goes on a 4-week schedule. Then that'll be the new thing. It's going to be called Cooking, Cleaning, Claw. And it's going to be tips that I have found in my life after moving out about tips of cooking and cleaning and how to save money and me. Cooking, Cleaning, Claw. But today we're going to do something more spooky, more Halloween-y. I should probably turn the lights off, make it a little creepier, but I'm not going to. Also, if you've been watching for a while, my desk is in a new place. It was right there. Now it's right here. It was facing the other way too. Now it's facing this way. So without that, what we're going to look at today is we're going to look at IMDB, the top 100 all-time best horror films. We're not going to look at all 100. We're just going to kind of skim through them, and I'm going to give you the opinions I have of the ones that I've seen, and I'm going to tell you bullshit about the ones that I haven't. So, I think I have this set up right. So watch this. Watch this. Nope, did it wrong. Watch that. There you go. So, that is it. I am on there now. So the first one is The Exorcist, of course. Of course it has to be The Exorcist. Everyone goes crazy about The Exorcist, and I know it was really popular, and it is scary, but honestly, it was really boring to me. I found it pretty boring. The Shining's great. I would put... Actually, The Shining has a better rating in IMDB than The Exorcist. I'm just saying. I thought The Shining was great. Haven't read the book. Apparently, the movie is nothing like the book. So much that Stephen King didn't want the movie to come out. And Stanley Kubrick doubled down and put it as Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. Then the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This movie is terrifying. I have seen it. I have seen the new one, and they are all scary. For a series, Jason is not that scary anymore. It's more of a pulp is the word I was looking for. Pulp horror. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre is scary. The whole town being in on it. Psycho is very scary. And it's a great movie. So there's really only that one scene that's scary. Everyone knows it. Yeah, let's see if I can... Here we go. I'm still working on this. Yeah, it wasn't worth it. Psycho's frightening, but the movie's great. Like, if you've never seen Psycho, the actual plot is fantastic. Alien, I have seen, or Aliens, I don't remember. Obviously, everybody knows the chestburster scene. I saw one of them. I saw the new one too, with the daughter or something. I saw the one with the human hybrid thing. The Thing I've never seen. It sounds scary. Honestly, I don't like movies that are in the cold. I don't like video games in the cold. Most people hate water levels, and I hate the ice levels. Rosemary's Baby, great story. Also, never seen this one. It kind of, these two, The Thing and Rosemary's Baby, I haven't seen because you know the plot. Like, I don't know. Halloween I've seen, and it is scary, and I have to say the Rob Zombie Halloween movies, I know got a lot of flack, but especially the first one I thought was really well done, and I thought that it was, the grounding, especially when they focus on the child, was really well done. Suspiria, I've never seen the original. I have seen the remake, and I was bored to tears until there's, I don't want to spoil it, but there's some boobies in there. Paid attention to the boobies, and that was about it. Dawn of the Dead I've seen, and it is great. If this is the original one, I believe the original was Night of the Walking Dead. Night of the Walking Dead was famous because it had an African-American actor, and that was uncommon at the time. And he was also the savior. So, really old movie, going against modern horror tropes. But Dawn of the Dead, I don't think I've actually seen. I think I've seen the remake where they're at the shopping mall, the 2005 remake. I've never seen the 70s one. Jaws, I've seen. Also, gotta say, bored me. Did the same thing for most people where, like, don't go in the ocean, I'm scared. But looking into sharks after that, I mean, I can see in 75 where you'd be terrified, but now we have YouTube and people swim with sharks and you can see them. That doesn't scare me. Don't Look Now, never even heard of. All these are in the 70s too. I feel like, so I gotta say, I think that a lot of these, I think nostalgia plays a huge role in these kind of rankings, and I think it's a little unfair. You know, if you go Don't Look Up, or not Don't Look Up, Nope, by Jordan Peele, you're like, I think that's the best horror movie of all time. And actually, I think Sorry for Bothering You was one of my favorites. If you haven't seen that movie, I can't tell you why it's one of my favorites, but it goes off the rails in a big way, and it's great. But you can't say that those are great, those are the best of all time, because people will say stuff like, what about The Exorcist? And you're like, I don't know, it's kind of boring to me. Right? I can see why it would be scary in the 70s, but I've seen scary things. Night of the Living Dead. I already talked about that one. The Innocents, never heard of. Jack Clayton, 61. I'm not going to watch it either. Carrie is frightening. The original Carrie is frightening. The book is also frightening. I think the movie was scarier than the book. The book was, better than the movie. I mean, the movie and book are pretty much spot on, but just the depth that you feel for Carrie in the book is terrifying. If you haven't read the book, it's very short. It's Stephen King's first book, or first novel. I think he was published in the magazines before there. American Werewolf in London, I have seen the scenes, but I have not seen the movie. The Haunting, dumb name. Hill House, I've heard of that. Isn't that a movie on Netflix? The Audition, I have heard, was absolutely terrifying. It's a Japanese film, and I've heard it is terrifying. Evil Dead 2, love it. I think Evil Dead 1, though, I think Evil Dead 1 is legitimately scary. Evil Dead 2, very funny. I don't think it's as funny. I don't think Evil Dead 2 is as funny if you haven't seen Evil Dead 1. The Omen's terrifying. The remake with Julia, I can't remember her name, from 10 Things I Hate About You, also was a good movie. Freaks is actually interesting. So you can see this was in 32. So Freaks is not a horror movie. It is unfair to call it a horror movie. What is more fair is to call it a fake, let's call it a horror movie. It's like a fake documentary, but it's real circus freaks. And then there's there's like a murder mystery thrown into it to make it a movie, but it's just like exploiting these circus freaks, and it is all right. I mean, it is scary. I have seen bits and pieces of it. I think it's Lost Media, if I'm not, or close to it, or something like that. I don't remember. Nosferatu, I have seen and was very bored. A 1922 vampire movie. It's no Twilight. You know what I'm saying? The Fly. Never seen The Fly, but I've seen the parts, the body horror parts, Cronenberg parts, Birds. What can you say about the Birds? Except this woman was terrified of birds, and so they were like, "Well, we'll just throw rubber birds at you," And then they threw live birds at her. Although she did take the role in being in Birds. I'll tell you what, let's finish off at 30. But yeah, so she took a role in Birds, and she was afraid of birds. The Changeling, no clue. I'm guessing it's about some sort of... Well, here it is. Changeling is a 1904 horror film by Peter Medic, starring... The story is based upon events that the writer Russell said he experienced while he was living in a mansion... Mansion? Is that mansion? I don't know if I know how to spell that word. That doesn't tell me anything about it. There's an inexplicable presence in the mansion's attic. Bride of Frankenstein, never seen it. Boris Karloff, though. I have seen his wax figures. Videodrome, I have seen. There goes my dryer. Maybe we should have stopped at 25. Let's listen to it. Videodrome is terrifying. Videodrome is a great movie. It is super terrifying. I think that you are in a era now that with Instagram and TikTok, not Instagram, TikTok and YouTube Shorts, I think you're in a perfect place to remake Videodrome, but in the modern era. And if you don't know, Videodrome is about it's a guy who he watches. Oh, there it goes again. He's a TV executive who is looking for the new dark content, and so he finds this like Videodrome place where it's all these like terrifying videos, and he starts getting sucked into it, and there's weird stuff that happens. It's great. Let the Right One In. This is the newest one so far. This is about a girl who's like a vampire, and she becomes friends with a boy. I have seen it. I did not. I don't remember it. I didn't like it. Cat People. Number 29 is Cat People. And it's about turning into cat people. 29th greatest horror movie of all time. Cat People. Release the butthole cut. Am I right? So, the final one we're talking about is 1930s. 30th. Frankenstein. Obviously, Frankenstein's going to be terrifying. When was it written? Because that has to be pretty close to... Because it was written in the late 1800s, right? So, it's got to be one of the first horror movies based on a book. But yeah, if you don't know, Frankenstein was written by Mary Shelley. I'm sure you know that, but it was written as a competition between her and Oscar Wilde and her husband. I believe it was Oscar Wilde. It was a famous author who I know the name, but I've never read their work. And so she knocked it out. She's like, boom, here I go. And a lot of people speculated at the time that her husband wrote it and just used her name because they didn't think a woman could write something that's scary. But there you go. There are 30 of the IMDb's top 30 horror movies of all time. Let's go back to this screen. In case you're wondering why it takes me a long time to switch, is my screens are backwards in my computer. Is it this one? It is this one. So, thank you for watching these. If you watched them and you didn't, I know. I can see how many views. Everybody can see. No views. I don't even watch them after they're done. So, I'm going to stop doing these, but it was fun while it lasted, and I got to do some research on some things. They might pop up every once in a while when there's a specific topic I want to talk about, specifically. A specific topic I want to talk about specifically. But thank you, and I will stop talking now. Until next time. Bye.